So I've come out this evening to the Murray coastline in hope of capturing a nice sunset coastal image. Unfortunately, the clouds have decided to join me as well, so I may not get quite the image that I had in mind. However, it may change. Also quite promising in the distance, the sun is breaking through some of the clouds. It's providing some nice golden sunlight, some nice rays, so we may get quite an atmospheric nice image. So it's just time to explore and see what I can find. So I found this wonderful little channel between two rocks, like a break in the rocks. It almost looks like a secret passage out onto some stones at the shoreline. I went down and explored it, very treacherous, wet rocks, seaweed. And I prefer the composition from back here because I think it tells a little story, it tells a little mystery. You're wondering, where is this? Where does this little pathway lead to? Was it ever used for smuggling or anything like that? And it leads out to some rocks in the distance with a couple of birds on them at the moment and some very nice sky as the sun sets. I've also waited till the lighting suited the scene and I got some nice light in the rocks in front of me. Polarizer's doing nothing here due to the sun position or next to nothing. So I've took a few normal shots and I've also done a couple of long exposures which I've just finished taking at the moment. They look really nice. But anyway, time to move out of here. I've one other composition that I saw just back as I was walking up, and I thought it may look quite good as the sun sets, if the sun actually comes out. And the sun is breaking out at the moment, so I'm going to try and pack up quickly and head back to that composition. So I'm making my way back to this composition I saw earlier, which wouldn't work at the time I spotted it, but should work if the sunset comes alive. But unfortunately, just have been packing away there, which is literally 5 minutes ago. The sun has went behind some rather large clouds, as is fairly typical. But we'll see what happens as I get back to this spot. But got quite a climb to get there. So you join me about 24 hours roughly after the point where I stopped the video yesterday. I walked back to the location I saw earlier on that evening. I just got a glimpse of something which I thought may make an interesting sunset shot. Before I even got there, the sun had went behind some clouds and the shot just didn't have any good light. I also spent some time looking at the composition to see if I wanted to return, but I thought the composition wasn't fantastic. As I say earlier on, I just caught a glimpse as I walked past. So I'm back roughly 24 hours later on the same stretch of coastline, currently doing a long exposure of a different scene. One of the struggles I have in this particular area is that there isn't anything off in the distance of interest. It basically just stretches out into the sea. So I'm watching my timer here. I'm doing a long exposure which is going to take in some hills in the distance. It's pretty much the only distant scenery there is. And I'll show you my composition in just a second. So I've taken a couple of variations of the scene behind me. I've just done a long exposure as I said, and I've taken just a standard shot as well. What I'm doing here is using this pathway up to the left of these interesting rocks as sort of a leading line off into the hills in the distance. That's pretty much the only scenery there is for the distance in a landscape shot here. The rocks themselves are also interesting in a focal point, and the sun is just starting to set off in the distance just to the right of these rocks. We've got some interesting colour in the sky, we've got some interesting colour on the water. Now it's one of those situations where I'm not sure if I'll prefer the standard shot or the long exposure. The reason for that is that the water's very calm, so the subtle ripples that are on it may actually enhance the image, but that's something I'll see once I get home. But yeah, this is going to be quite an interesting image, I think. I'm liking the look of it in the back of the camera. I think in my last vlog I was climbing over some very slippery rocks. Well, I'm climbing over some rocks again. I've been quite fortunate with the light this evening. The shot I just took about 15 minutes ago had some interest in the sky behind it, and there's not much else going on anywhere else. However, suddenly in a similar direction where I was taking that shot, the sky just came alive. There's beams coming down, but it is very far away. And I've also spotted a boat which is slowly moving across the ocean into that area where the interesting light is going on. So I've put on my 70 to 200 lens, climbed over the rocks, and what I'm trying to do here is take an interesting shot, capture this wonderful light, probably handheld, and wait until the boat is in a nice position. I'm also thinking of taking in some of the rocks here just before the sea, but not bothering about getting them in focus, because what I want in focus is the distant sky and hills and the boat. So deliberately leaving this slightly blurred. I'm not interested in trying to get everything in focus, and leaving it quite dark, so probably quite an atmospheric shot. But anyway, I'm going to get into position and see what I can do. So that's it for this particular vlog that I filmed over 2 days. I hope you've enjoyed watching. The sun is now pretty much set. It's behind another thick bank of cloud, just like it did the previous evening. But if you've enjoyed, please leave a like, and if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel but enjoy my content, then please feel free to subscribe. It would be much appreciated. But until now, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next vlog.